early NFL's 2025 recap edition. Happy to bring this episode to you guys on this Saturday evening. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You guys can check the show out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Podbean, Patreon, and as well as on Trovo. As always, I thank you guys for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. We reached over 100 subscribers the other day. I definitely am excited, guys. We're coming up on a year that I've been doing the show. To already be over 100 subscribers, it's a great feeling, and I wouldn't even be in this position without you guys. So I thank you so much. As always, without your support, there wouldn't be a Blunt Talk Sports podcast. So I thank you. I just definitely want to make sure I say that. And outside of giving you guys love, I definitely got to give the NFL some love because I don't know if you guys have noticed outside of me, but it seems like when they say NFL offseason, there's never really a true NFL offseason. It seems like literally as soon as the offseason ends, there's more moves being made for teams just trying to get better. And I guess that's ultimately the quest. I mean, you're ultimately fighting for championships. The fucking goal is to win Super Bowls. So I completely understand it. I completely understand where a lot of these teams are coming from. So anyway, getting into it, I was chilling today, off work today. Was pretty much going to chill from doing the show today and just, jot down news and notes of, NFL news, what's going on. But the NFL made sure that with all the jam-packed news that came out today, there was no way in hell we were just going to do some shorts and be able to get that out. So kind of put some things together, got the kids situated for bed, and now I'm ready to deliver you guys a nice podcast, a nice episode, live stream edition of the NFL free agency recap. So before we get into that, guys, I always want to make sure that we shout out some friends of the show. If you're looking for the best tickets to live events, concerts, shows, and live sporting events, definitely check out StubHub, the place in the world for tickets to live events, shows, and concerts. Also, the number one reseller in the world for tickets to live events, shows, and concerts, so definitely check that out. Also, as well as the European affiliate Viagogo, number two reseller in the world for tickets to live shows, events, and concerts. For my people in the UK market, like I said, there will be a link in the description of this video for you guys looking for tickets to latest events, rock concerts, rodeo that they got coming up and stuff right now, Mardi Gras, which just passed. There were tickets to that, but there's other things coming up. So definitely, guys, check it out. Whatever you're into, there's definitely going to be something for you at StubHub or Viagogo. That being said, guys, getting into this episode, first things first. I was going to start it off with DK Metcalf, but I be bullshitting myself. I have to start this off with Myles Garrett. Probably the most shocking news of the day. None of us expected Myles Garrett in any way, shape, or form to still be a Cleveland Brown, to re-sign that deal and to still be, wearing that uniform. But we're here. We're at this point, and ultimately it makes sense. Now, I say it makes sense for probably not the reason that you think. It makes sense in the aspect of they weren't going to let him go. They weren't going to let him go. So if I'm, Myles Garrett, I'm looking at it like this. You're not trading me. You're not putting me in a position to win. I want to get out of here, but you're not willing to let me go. If I sit out, I run the risk of collecting rust on my body. It takes a year off. I believe if I'm correct, it reduces a year potentially of free agency. Retards him a year. So it's just a lot of things that wouldn't have really boded well in his favor. I know my brother, I spoke to him tonight. I know I spoke to a couple other people that felt like he shouldn't have folded, that felt like maybe he should have held out. And I understand the arguments for those things. I honestly do. However, the contract that he received, I mean, is just downright fucking insane. I mean, if you're Myles Garrett, you would have been a fool to not take this money. I mean, Myles Garrett's contract, I mean, he's literally now paid, he's really paid the biggest contract ever by a person that never played a quarterback position. Just to give you an idea of this, the terms of this deal, it's a 4-year extension, $160 million. Um, he has literally $122 million guaranteed. So it's $44 million a year. You break that down. Um, yeah, I mean, essentially, Myles Garrett won. Myles Garrett was not supposed to even still be a Cleveland Brown. So having a full no trade clause now, it's the largest average per year for a quarterback. So to me, he's not going to compete for the championship like he wanted, but who knows? Maybe he didn't really want to compete for the championship. Who knows? Maybe he honestly really just wanted a bigger deal. I never really felt like, as an Eagles fan, I never really felt like Myles Garrett was going to become a Philadelphia Eagle. And being that, Philadelphia and Washington were the only road teams that could really give up anything of substance to even get or acquire him. Just really didn't feel like it was going to work. So shout out to Myles Garrett. He definitely deserves it. He definitely deserves the money. It's fucked up. He's not going to compete for a championship, but I'm pretty sure Andrew Berry, coming from Philadelphia, coming out of that Howie Roseman system and that school of thought, he knew. Listen, sell him a bill of goods. Let him know, like, hey, look, we're not going to be competing for a Super Bowl, but I promise you, we're getting off this Deshaun Watson contract in 2 years. We're going to be in a situation where we can compete. We could possibly get a young quarterback in there now, do something, make it a decent effect on this team. I mean, who knows? In the AFC North, the Bengals, between front office decisions and fucking injuries, they never are completely solid. I mean, hell, they should have been in the playoffs this year. They missed it. The Ravens are competing for a Super Bowl. For the past couple of years, they've been competing for a championship, but we all know they could be inconsistent and fuck up and knock themselves out of it. The Steelers, I'll touch on them in a second. We're getting DK Metcalf. Who knows, not having a running back, defense kind of inconsistent. Who knows where that falls? So if you're the Browns, you kind of were in a situation where you kind of had no choice but to keep them. Because if you get rid of them, yeah, you can get something for them, but what are you getting for them? What essentially are you getting for him that's going to help you now win games? Nothing. You get rid of him now, you're not winning anything. You're not putting yourself in any situation to compete. Hell, at least with him, you've won 2 playoff games. You've won a division. You've been competent. Without him, you're garbage. So I completely understand why the Browns did this. Credit to Andrew Berry. Credit to Jimmy Haslam for not getting involved. The Browns played this magnificently. And if Myles Garrett's whole intention was to get money, even though he said, quote, it's not about the money, if his whole intent was to get money, he played this magnificently. So shout out to him and the Browns, and shout out to Myles Garrett for getting the bag. Now to DK Metcalf. Staying within the AFC North. This low-key shocked me, and it only shocked me because, I won't lie, there was a lot of rampant speculation that he was possibly going to go to the Chargers, possibly the Texans, which I can understand, especially with Stephon Diggs' situation and Stephon Diggs getting injured and not, it just really not working out last year. I can understand the Texans being an option, and I knew the Packers were a viable option. But to say the least, 5 years, $150 million. Seattle Pittsburgh essentially traded a 2025 second-round pick, so they're giving up a second-round pick in this year's draft for him. If you're Seattle, you had to make this deal because you're completely rebuilding, so it makes complete sense. If you're Pittsburgh, you needed a playmaker. You needed somebody opposite of George Pickens that was going to put you in a situation to win games and put you in a situation to be have a guy that can actually stretch the field. Because let's be honest, Russell Wilson didn't throw the ball in the middle of the damn field last year. That's not speculation or conjecture on my part. That's facts. You can look up NFL Next Gen stats. You can look up any stats, passing stats on Russell Wilson. He just did not throw the ball in the middle of the field. That being said, outside of him not throwing the ball in the middle of the field, he put the team in very precarious situations where he was throwing a lot of moon balls or deep shots. But outside of George Pickens and maybe a splash play here and there from Calvin Austin, there was really no other person that could really help take the top off the defense. The running game, solid but inconsistent. That's why Najee Harris is definitely going to be out of there going into this offseason. They're definitely going to be getting another guy to come in, whether to draft or free agency. So you had to make this move. It's well documented. I've spoke about it on a previous episode. I'll put the link in the description. You guys can check this out. I spoke on how Arthur Smith and Russell Wilson were bumping heads and not getting along. Russell Wilson ultimately felt like he wanted to run the offense a certain way. Arthur Smith felt like Russell Wilson wasn't running the offense to the manner or degree that he felt he could run it, or best of the ability that he felt he could run it. Now, I know that they won games, and it seems kind of like I'm talking out of the side of my mouth when I say this, but this is all documented. Sports Illustrated definitely documented this. I can source it there. You can definitely check this out. Google it. Arthur Smith did not want Russell Wilson to be the quarterback. So that being said, looks like Justin Fields may be the guy coming back. Getting DK Metcalf there is definitely going to be a great option. That's a lot of money. I mean, he's essentially getting $31 million guaranteed. $33 million guaranteed, excuse me. It's a lot of money for a wide receiver. DK Metcalf has been good. I feel like he's been solid. I definitely feel like he's been underused in Seattle. Their passing offense is not really skilled or catered to a guy of his skill set. they're really ground and pound and try to, move the ball throughout, play action and methodical West Coast, old school West Coast offense. That being said, I don't really feel like that was great for DK. It wasn't really beneficial for his career. So him getting to Pittsburgh, I definitely think this can help. Arthur Smith is going to throw the ball. He definitely rectified and reclamated Ryan Tannehill's career. I definitely feel like he could do that to Justin Fields. Now having DK Metcalf, you add a running back. Depending on how that plays out, you put the Pittsburgh Steelers in a situation where advantageously they can really compete again. Because unlike the Browns, where you don't know who the quarterback is, well, I guess kind of in a way you don't know, but you don't really know what the future holds if you're Cleveland. The opposite could be said in Pittsburgh. We know what the plan is offensively. We know what we want to do defensively. And we know now that we have to score. If we can score now somewhere between 24 to 28 points and allow our defense to do its job, we put the team in a situation to not only win in the playoffs, but potentially go far. So great move from Pittsburgh's standpoint. Like I said, if you're Seattle, you're completely retooling. So I get it. Great move all the way around. Getting a second round pick for DK. Because again, he had a year last year. We had 60 catches, 900 some odd yards. I mean, keep in mind, guys, AJ Brown was injured. He still had 1,000-yard season, similar amount of catches. So not great if you're DK Metcalf. So this is, I kind of felt like if he had went anywhere else, maybe he went to Green Bay, he kind of would have been on like a prove it deal. I know the Chargers would have paid him. I definitely know the Texans would have paid him. But I kind of feel like he went somewhere where he knew he was going to get the money. He knew he was going to get the ball. George Pickens, good as a young receiver as he is, he's nowhere the caliber of a receiver DK Metcalf is right now. So this has potential to be a great tandem. Depending on who the running back is, great options potentially for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going a bit further, some of the other signings today. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Josh Allen. Huge, massive signing by Josh Allen today. I mean, obviously, winning the MVP is self-explanatory. Getting the MVP award, we kind of knew, especially with Saquon getting his deal. The Eagles kind of set the precedent of pay your guy, especially if he produces for you. So we kind of knew that Josh Allen's deal was coming somewhere down the line. However, massive extension for Josh Allen, and well-deserved. Well-deserved. 6-year deal, $330 million, essentially is the total value of the deal. But again, coming off MVP season, we were expecting this guy to not really even be in a situation where they would be competing for a championship or even be in the AFC championship game, let alone all the veterans that they let go. Not having Stephon Diggs, a lot of people, myself included, thought the offense of the team could possibly suffer. And all they did was put themselves right back in position to compete again. Got to give a lot of credit to Josh Allen and the season that he had. Like I said, the deal was 6 years, $330 million. I mean, essentially throughout the life of the deal is $250 million guaranteed, average annual salary of $55 million. This is all coming from SpotReg.com. Again, Josh Allen deserved this. This was a deal that we knew that was coming. This pushes his potential free agency all the way down to 2031. If you're the Bills, you have no intention of him ever seeing free agency. So, again, this is a situation where if you're Buffalo, do the right thing, sign your guys. I mean, hell, to piggyback off that, they signed their defensive end Rousseau to a 4-year, $80 million deal. It's $54 million guaranteed. Also, their linebacker Terrell Bernard. They signed him to a 4-year extension, $50 million, 25.2 guaranteed. So the Bills were definitely spending money this weekend, making sure they were taking care of their own. I respect it, and I definitely acknowledge it, and I think it's a great idea. You definitely got to make sure your guys are taken care of, especially if they're producing for you. Let's see, going a bit further. We got, Ronnie Stanley. Definitely got to give a shout out to Ronnie Stanley today. I thought Ronnie Stanley was definitely going to be on the outs. I thought Ronnie Stanley was possibly going to be going elsewhere. Didn't think he was going to last in Baltimore. Granted, great tackle. Arguably the best left tackle in free agency. But I just didn't think he was going to possibly work out. He resigned. Again, bookend left tackle, Hall of Famer, potential Hall of Famer. If you're Baltimore, with Lamar in his prime, competing at this level, competing for championships, it would have been stupid to let a guy like Ronnie Stanley go. 3 years, $60 million. Top left tackle type deal. Got to give Ronnie Stanley credit for that. Great deal for the Ravens. another big signing. If you're talking about wide receivers, we're going back to wide receivers. There was a couple of wide receiver signings throughout the weekend. Devontae Adams going to the Los Angeles Rams, 2 years, 46 million. Let me say this and say this very carefully. This was the worst kept secret in all of like the NFL offseason, like rumor mill. Devontae Adams had pretty much said after he was released that he definitely wanted to make sure that he went somewhere that was warm. I mean, self-explanatory. You kind of knew it damn sure wasn't going to be the Vegas Raiders again. You kind of knew it was either going to be the Rams or the 49ers. 49ers are trying to get off Brandon Ayuk, so I don't know if they have the money necessarily to re-sign an old Devontae Adams. So kind of weird how it all played out, but Devontae Adams is now a Los Angeles Ram. Um, Short term, this is great for the Rams. I mean, essentially, Devontae is going to be getting 2 years, 44 million, 26 million guaranteed, $12 million signing bonus. So average annual salary of $22 million. Great deal for Devontae Adams. A nice deal for the Rams. Gives you, immediate relief, especially with Matt Stafford. Having Matthew Stafford throwing to him, he's going to definitely put up numbers. I don't think he's going to have the Aaron Rodgers 1,700-yard season type of numbers. I think it's going to be more somewhere between 12 and 1,400. That being said, with Puka Nacua being out there, that's going to take touches from him as well. But being that Cooper Kupp fell off, lost his step, ravaged with injury, you definitely understood why they had to make this move. Devontae Adams is still a 1,000-yard receiver. Hell, he had 1,000 yards last year in that dumpster fire known as the Jets. So great signing by the Rams. This is a guy that can definitely help them. Not sure if he's still that same guy that he once was 2, 3, 4 years ago, but nonetheless, he's definitely one of those guys I think is definitely going to help them potentially advance forward. Going a bit further here, we also got Aaron Jones, Vikings running back, former Packers running back, re-signed with the Vikings, 2 years, $20 million. This was more of a safety blanket deal. I mean, he was solid for them last year. He was solid playing for them with Sam Darnold. He kind of won them a lot of games early on. Fought for a lot of tough yards, put this Minnesota team in a lot of good positions, advantageous positions to win. So I got to give Aaron Jones credit for that. He wasn't. I don't think he was going to get this bag anywhere else. That's essentially why Green Bay let him go. The deal is 2 years, 20 million. Essentially, he's got an $8 million signing bonus, $13 million guaranteed. So roundabout, pretty sad, pretty tasteful deal on both sides. You break that down, looking at it for the initial, it's essentially a 1 year deal. You know, After this year, they can get off of them. This year, the cap hit's only $6 million, so it just gives you an idea that it's very manageable to get off him next year. So to kind of calm things down when things are a little hectic for the young guys. So respect it, definitely understand it. Um, Going a bit further down the list, Chiefs resigned veteran linebacker Nick Bolton. No shock there. 3 years, 45 million. Nick Bolton, veteran linebacker, solid linebacker for the Chiefs. They need all their defensive stalwarts to stay. They cannot continue to afford to let good defensive players go. So definitely understood where that was coming from. Also, Chiefs were able to re-sign Marquise Hollywood Brown to a 1 year deal. He wasn't healthy, didn't really come back until the end. Stretch run, didn't really make that many plays. Couple splash plays here and there, but good to see what he could potentially do with Rashee Rice and a healthy Rashee Rice and a healthy Travis Kelce. We'll all see how that all plays out. The Chiefs make no mistake. The Chiefs are trying to squeeze as much juice out of this orange as they can. They know that they're getting younger and they're going to have to retool. So they definitely need Hollywood Brown to pop because if he can, he's a guy that they could definitely re-sign and keep on a nice veteran deal and keep returning that will. But if he doesn't, definitely going to have to see in the draft. It's going to be very keenly. I'm going to keep a keen eye on them anyway to see what they do throughout the draft as far as at the receiver position. And also finishing this list up tonight, we're going over the Patriots signing Harold Landry. I was kind of on Harold Landry throughout the whole offseason. I knew when the Titans pretty much let him know that he could seek a trade. A couple of days ago, about 2 or 3 days ago, they notified they were going to release him. They couldn't find a trade partner. He definitely wasn't going to get that guaranteed signing bonus at the time that was due for this month. So he was released and didn't sit long. Day or two in free agency, signed with the New England Patriots, 3 years, $43.5 million. Obviously, there being a familiarity with Mike Vrabel, that deal definitely made sense. Landry's still a young guy, still productive outside linebacker, one of the best outside edge rushers in the league. Patriots is definitely going to get better with a lot of money that they have to spend in free agency. I definitely expect to see more solid veteran acquisitions like that. But that's going to do it for the night, guys. Hopefully, the NFL doesn't have any more big splashes in store for the rest of the night. I'll have some content coming up Tuesday for you guys to definitely check out. I have some shorts that I'll definitely post as some breaking news comes along. As always, guys, I love you. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.